knew something was off the moment the room went quiet. Grandpa never needed silence. He commanded it. But this was different. His hand trembled slightly as he slid the envelopes across the dinner table. Crystal glasses caught the light, reflecting 1,000 tiny stars. But all I saw were his eyes watching us, studying us, almost daring us. My parents laughed first, as they always did. Of course, they did. "Another one of his fake checks," my mother said, waving hers as though it were a joke receipt from a magic show. My father winked at the table, already reaching for more wine, a theatrical gesture of sophistication. Old man likes to pretend he's worth a fortune, they thought. I said nothing. I simply tucked my envelope into my jacket, and Grandpa noticed. Oh, he noticed. When our eyes met, he didn't smile. He nodded, slow and deliberate, as if confirming a suspicion he had carried for decades. I didn't understand it then, but I would very soon. The next morning, the bank called. Only one check had cleared, only mine. And when Grandpa heard the commotion in my parents' kitchen, the yelling, the disbelief, the frantic accusations, he stepped inside, calm as snowfall, and said, "Good, now I know who's real." What he didn't know was that I had known long before he did. I used to admire my parents. I used to think their ambition was drive, not greed. I used to believe their love for me was genuine. But the first time Grandpa introduced me to the family trust liar when I was 16, something inside me shifted. My parents' smiles tightened. Their voices sharpened. Their hands clutched my shoulders with a false urgency that didn't feel like affection. "You don't need to worry about that junk," my father said almost too quickly. My mother added, "Your grandfather has fantasies. Don't encourage them." I thought their reactions were protective, that they were safeguarding me. I was wrong. The signs came slowly, like rust seeping through wallpaper. My college fund rerouted into a joint account without my consent. My car sold under suspicious circumstances to cover emergencies. My name appeared on documents I never signed. Little betrayals at first, then bigger, more calculated ones. The final crack happened last year. I saw the message on my father's phone. Once the old man goes, we're cashing out. He'll never know the difference. I stood there, phone still lit in my hand, heart oddly calm. They didn't love him, and they didn't love me. I realized that I was just a bridge to the fortune they believed was theirs. I didn't confront them. I planned. Revenge doesn't start with rage. It starts with clarity. I visited Grandpa privately, not as the obedient grandchild they expected, but as someone who finally understood him. I told him everything, not with tears, not with drama, just cold, unvarnished facts. He listened silently, expression unreadable. When I finished, he exhaled, slow and heavy. "I needed to know," he said. I needed to see them reveal themselves. That was when I realized he wasn't naive. He was patient, and now he was ready. 2 months before Christmas, Grandpa revised his trust. He didn't tell me the details, only that he needed my help confirming who deserved nothing. So I played my part. I acted confused when my parents borrowed from my savings again. I acted supportive when they complained about Grandpa's age, his stubbornness, his supposed delusions of grandeur. I acted blind while they forged signatures on loans, property documents, withdrawals, thinking I'd never notice. I let them dig their hole, one signed page at a time. And Grandpa collected every copy. Christmas dinner was the final test. My parents laughed at the checks exactly as he predicted. They mocked the man who fed them, housed them, saved them, and while they sipped wine and sneered, I quietly pocketed mine. I didn't need to open it. I already trusted what mattered. The next morning was chaos. My mother screamed at the bank. My father accused me of colluding. Both insisted they were owed something. Grandpa stood between us, calm, unwavering, like a judge. "You failed," he told them. "Both of you." They didn't understand until the lawyers stepped inside and laid down the papers. The trust, the revisions, the evidence. Every stolen dollar, every forged document, every betrayal logged, notarized, and undeniable. The final line read, "All assets shall transfer solely to my grandchild." My parents looked at me as if I had stabbed them, but I had done nothing but stop pretending. They were removed from the house that afternoon, screaming, pleading, bargaining, blaming. Grandpa didn't watch, I did. Not out of cruelty, but closure, because revenge isn't fire, it's ice. Controlled, deliberate, inevitable. Later, Grandpa placed a hand on my shoulder. "You stayed real," he said. That was all I needed to hear. For the first time in years, I believed him. I didn't win because I fought. I won because I waited, because I learned, because I refused to become them. And in that moment, I understood something fundamental. Power without patience is nothing. Revenge without clarity is empty, but wisdom, tempered with patience, is absolute. It doesn't scream, it doesn't threaten, it waits. And when the time comes, it delivers justice with the quiet precision of a winter snowfall. I had waited, I had watched, and I had finally claimed what was rightfully mine, not through force, but through understanding, foresight, and an unshakable resolve. Grandpa's eyes met mine one last time that day, and in them I saw pride, not surprise. I had not just won a fortune. I had earned respect. And in this world of deceit, where love can be false and loyalty can be purchased, that was worth everything.